otherwise. Okay. Marley,
Yes.
we're here talking about, it's not something I like doing, right? Slagging somebody else off. But you want to say something about Donald Marshall. Now,
Yes.
could you in some way, in this short bit we're doing, if possible, give a neutral description of who Donald Marshall is?
Sure.
He's somebody who's on Facebook and...
Yes. He's a character which has been on the internet now since 2012, and I was actually introduced to him by my mother. She sort of made me aware of him, and then I started watching all his interviews, and relevant information in regards to cloning technology. And
Now, just while we're on this,
Yeah.
you say that Donald Marshall has seen me at a cloning facility, which is why we're doing this tape, folks, right? Because this is, I want to know what's going on. I haven't heard what's been said. I have no idea what you're going to say. So, so let's get on with it, right?
Yeah. Now, just to, we'll get to that point, but
Yeah,
I mean,
well, let's get on with it.
Okay.
Bang, bang, bang.
so he's been around, like I say, since 2012. He's talking about cloning, consciousness transfer, underground species, different Illuminati technology, basically. Now, he has claimed that he is basically being enslaved to create ideas for the elite for a long time, and that he goes to cloning centers when he goes to sleep, into REM sleep, where the consciousness is transferred into a clone, and through that he then is in another body, and the technology exists. There's not a...
And it works.
That is something which exists. Now, I only know of that because, well, the understanding of science is something that we don't really have in the schooling system. It's not effective.
Yeah.
Right
Well,
now.
I mean, the British Telecom talked about this being the Soul Catcher program. And,
Exactly, because that's what
and
they...
it's called Soul Catcher.
Yeah,
Sort of, yeah.
that's what they've been calling it, because they believe that all the information that exists within a human being's mind, all the memories, fears, all the angers, patterns, can be basically stored in a microchip.
Or holographic matrix thing.
Holographic memory storage,
Yeah.
exactly. And essentially that consciousness then can, when a person dies, that is the person's soul.
Now, this is also the agenda of the 2045 group, where
Yes.
they wish to transfer...
Russia 2045.
Have an avatar of a human. Their consciousness would live in a computer, and that person would then be given legitimate human rights as a valid human being, and they want that by 2045.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's it. I mean, they basically, they believe that it's a point to get towards immortality. Well, they don't. Well, they know now it's not, but they believed that originally when it was developed
gone
in World
wrong?
War II. Well, because it's consciousness is consciousness. It's not actually life. It's just knowledge and information. So if I get killed tomorrow and someone just records all my consciousness and then stuffs it into a clone of me, that is not me. That is a duplicate of me with a load of knowledge and information shoved into it. And again, when people actually understand the technology and how it works, it's completely flawed. It's full of glitches in terms of...
Well, the basic assumption that everything's up here in your brain. So there's arguments that the brain's merely like a transceiver. It sort of
Exactly.
picks up from somewhere else.
As I've talked about with the history of humanity, the mind consciousness system was created to enslave humans. That's what consciousness is for.
Okay. But sticking to Mr. Marshall.
Yeah.
So what's this terrible person doing?
Well,
or is he a
basically,
terrible person? I don't like slagging this guy off. I don't know
absolutely.
who he is, really.
No, because that's what I really want to make clear with this before I really say anything, is that everything he said...
Okay, we've got 12 minutes left.
That's fine. Basically, everything he talks about is existing. Okay, so it's not about me trying to challenge the information he's sharing, because that's relevant, right?
Yeah.
But what it is a case of looking at is that I'd been friends with him for years, and then when you are friends with someone for years and you start noticing things in their behavior that are really concerning, you think to yourself, well, why is that happening? Because clearly this person is actually not actually doing what's best for life in any way whatsoever. So for instance, I started noticing little things in posts he would do in terms of, animal abuse posts, and actually enjoying that. Chopping off a being's head and sharing a picture of it and saying that that's something good and something cool. And then I started finding out other points that started accumulating as well in terms of beings that had been communicating with him and had been abused with him. Now, I know of multiple beings, and I'm not going to give anyone's names right now until they are comfortable for me to do that, but I know of beings that have had multiple death threats, multiple abusive behavior from Donald Marshall. Donald Marshall right now is banned off of Facebook for 30 days for abusing homosexual people. This is just a part of his MO, is because he likes to stand as the point of God. He doesn't want to be equal with people. He wants that, okay, I'm sharing all this information. You should be bowing down to me. You should be less than me. So do that, otherwise you can just go away. He has it's a copy essentially of the Queen's consciousness, and many beings have that. You must bow down. If you do not, he will not accept you. That's just how it works. That's how a cult leader works. That's how a tyrant works. That's how someone who is just full of bullshit works. And this one person in particular, I know that knows Donald better than anyone. And this person has told me more than enough that very clearly validates that there's some massive problems there with him as a person. Also when I... Go ahead.
The thing is, if he is going through, or like anybody is leaving their body and going to other places in some regard,
yeah,
are we actually talking about Donald Marshall anymore? I mean, maybe something else has got into him.
Well, absolutely. This is something that some people have been suggesting, because the behavior is so erratic that there has been questions about whether or not this being is in control of himself in any way whatsoever, and if all the actions are just being
there are other
controlled.
Individuals like Stephen Greer has saying that invite anything into your body and welcome them in, and let them take control. This is absolutely not what anybody should be doing. I mean, we shouldn't be messing about with things like this.
Yeah.
But so what's the bottom line on?
Well, I mean, just obviously.
I mean, there are lots of trolls and people on Facebook who are distasteful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why are we focusing on? Because Donald.
Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, Donald Marshall and Marley Dawkins have had many interactions throughout the years, and I have considered him as a friend at certain points before I started realizing point after point of abuse. And when you start seeing abuse from a being, you cannot just ignore it and pretend like it doesn't exist, regardless of how relevant their information is or isn't. And even within the information, there are parts that are not relevant in terms of, he'll tell you he's the only Illuminati creator of songs and video games and music and stuff. There's multiple people that get abused for ideas by the elite. He's not the only one. There are many.
Is he a TI, a targeted individual in that?
Yeah, absolutely. No, he's
done these things. He's taking some hits.
Yes, absolutely. But he is.
I mean, we don't want to have this particular little thing. So let's slag off Donald Marshall. But let's look for solutions and positive ways out of here.
Exactly. I would say to anyone who's watching this, that's thinking, "Oh, this fucking guy's just talking shit about Donald," because there certainly will be some people that are. Trust me. I know the exact ones. You have to start looking at, you cannot know a person in life until you know them. It doesn't matter how profound what they're sharing with you is. If they're not actually a supportive person on this planet that's going to give you tools and solutions to change yourself, to improve yourself, they are not someone you need to be interacting with. You must walk equal with beings. You cannot be less than someone. If someone's demanding that you're less than, just remove them. And so basically what I'm saying is, people that come across Donald Marshall, use discernment, okay? Accept it, yes, and learn about science while you're doing it at the same time, because it will help you to understand a lot of his information. But then you'll realize it yourself. You'll see the abuse if you're open and clear and call out Donald on it and say, look, we can't have this anymore. You have to stand equal as live, Donald, or just stop talking. There's no need to just keep repeating the same things for the past 5 years now with no solutions. The guy has no solutions other than we need to just kill the elite. That's his general idea. And it's just like there needs to be something tangible at the end. Yeah. Okay, you can share as many Illuminati secrets as you want until you are blue in the face till your last breath, but you must have a solution. So that would be the main point I would say people need to focus on.
Well, thank you very much. I think that's enough about Donald Marshall and
Yes.
warning people.
Yes.
And well, thank you for coming the whole way to the Basis Project little studio we got here. And
Pleasure,
we
Miles.
even survived a hailstorm.
We did. Absolutely.
So, well, thank you very much. And that's it for a shout out on Donald Marshall. Goodbye.